Another really cool experience on my mission was we built this. It was cool. It was in that same area. I'd been in that zone before. It's called Iguala, Mexico. Interestingly enough, it's where they invented the Mexican flag, is in Iguala. But I was there for my second area. I was only there for 6 weeks. But the first time I went to the stake center, I sat by this guy that I could tell was crippled from the waist down. Felt like I should sit by him. I got to know him, talked to him. He said, I'd love for the missionaries to come by. So I told the zone leaders, which were in his area, about him, and figured they'd go visit him. So I think it was almost a year later I was back in that area. And the first time I went into the church, I saw the same guy. And I sat down by him and I talked to him, and I said, is there anything you need? And he said, I'd love for the missionaries to come by. So I was in the area this time, and so we went and visited him and found out he was living in this teeny little hut that the church members had built for him. But it was so small. It was built out of cardboard. And they have these things in Mexico called alacranes, which are little scorpions. And they can be very dangerous. And when I went in there, I noticed several alacranes in his house. And I said, dude, you've got, and when he noticed them too, he killed them with his crutches, and I said, dude, you've got a problem here. He said, yeah, I know that there's a big tree right by his house. He said, there's just tons of them up in this tree, and they come down into my house at night. Man, I couldn't believe that. Anyway, so we started talking to him. I was like, you need a new house. You need something different. And so we went and we met with the bishop, and we created this big plan as a ward to build a real house for him, which was cool. And the area that he lived on was owned by his brother, I think, and so we weren't worried about someone coming and taking the house from him. And so we went out and we planned this big Sunday where we'd get donations from everyone in the ward to build a house for him. And the bishop was okay with it, and we did it, and a bunch of people donated money, and we donated a little bit of money to it. And we went out, and as missionaries, we went out and we bought the bricks for this house, and we told them where to deliver the bricks, and we organized a big church service activity where we mixed mud, and we poured a foundation. And a really exciting thing for a ward there that was having struggles internally. The people had problems with the bishop. It was just kind of a ward that was struggling, and this was something that kind of helped unify them and bolstered their spirits. And so we were able to build the foundation for this house out of solid concrete and and get a lot of the walls up. And then I was transferred out of the area, but I went back later, and they were just about to finish the house for him at the end of my mission when I went back with my parents. That was a very special experience for him, and I wish I could go back down now and make sure everything's done with this house, but that was a very special experience on the service end of things. And I learned that while we were building this house for him, his neighbors said, we can't believe you're building this house for him. So we started teaching his neighbors, and after I left the area, the neighbors got baptized through that service opportunity. So you just never know when you feel the Spirit prompting you to talk to people or do things. You never know what it's going to turn out to be. It turned out to be baptism. It turned out to be a better life for this man. It turned out to be a better thing for the ward. And we would have had no idea that would have happened. It's just the Spirit that directs everything. And so that was such a special opportunity and a huge lesson that, God knows what. And on your mission, you get so concerned sometimes with baptisms and numbers and how many investigators you have and how many people you have at church. And God doesn't care about any of that. He cares about us following the Spirit and finding the people that need to be found. And He does it in a lot of different ways. So that was a cool experience.